Leprous, Melodies of Atonement is the brand new record from one of my favourite Norwegian bands, and I've honestly been looking forward to this record because Leprous have released some incredible albums in the past. Bilateral is one of my favourite progressive metal records. I really enjoy The Congregation as well, and even if we sunk more from the heavier era of the band to a more uh, just softer tone, melodic state, I still think albums like Malina is pretty good, but um, we're going to see how this one holds up. So we start off with the second single, Silently Walking Alone, which in my opinion, it's fine. I wasn't as big on it, but I think the song as a single had time to grow on me. I think the chorus can be fun. I love the way it's structured. I love the kind of emphasis, the pauses, just the way it's more exaggerated into the chorus. It's quite interesting. I think instrumentally it's cool, but from a normal song from Leprous, it's not as incredible to me, at least as some of their better material. From literally Tall Poppy Syndrome to Malina, probably have a lot stronger songs than this, especially as a start of a track as well. But Silently Walking Alone is still a good song. It's just not one I'm crazy for. Atonement's one I quite like. It's interesting. It plays with synths nicely. I think it's got a nice build up to it. The grooves there, the din 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 din, the sort of repetitive synth is awesome. I like this one. The All Because of You bit just goes hard. It's a fun song, especially when Ina Solberg's vocals just go to real soprano there. I love his tone, to be honest. The falsetto is lovely, and I think he nails it. Even on Atonement is a nice thing to see. Diving into the first new song, we have My Spectre. This one it's good, but I'm not crazy on it. I think it kind of represents a lot of my issues, I will say, with this record as we go deeper in. But My Spectre, it has this really fun, eerie, dark sound to it, and I love the way it's slow, soft, and just mysterious and strange. And then as you go more into the chorus, it just hits with a refrain that's decent to alright. I'm not that big on it, but I think the overall eeriness is what gives this 1 point for me. I like it, but I'm not crazy on it either. Kind of like Silently Walking Alone, I know it's not the best and they could definitely do something better, but at the same time I still like elements, and I think the song as a whole isn't bad. It's a song I can get by, so it's good, but I'm not big on it either. I Hear The Sirens was one I wanted to like, but it just kind of felt like My Spectre. Literally, it starts off slow, got this eeriness, then it builds up with more instrumentation into the refrain, and it just does a weaker job than the other three tracks that kind of do the same thing. It's not my cup of tea, in my opinion. It's just kind of not terrible by all means, but it just feels like this film is going to be done completely. And it is unfortunate because as we go into Like a Sunken Ship, a single that I think is easily the best they've done in a while, my big issue kind of, yeah, as I said, the thing starts off slow and it builds up, and I think this is the only time the build up really had some payoff. This one being Like a Sunken Ship had a nice little bit of uncleans. We had some screams which we haven't had in a while. It's nice, but I felt it is misleading because this is the only song to give us that, and it's so unfortunate because it's been a while since we had that. I feel like The Congregation was probably the last time we even had some resemblance of this heavier vocal range, but now it's completely utilised just to this track. And I think Like a Sunken Ship's cool. I think the la 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 sort of slower bit, it's nice. Again, it adds to the mysteriousness I like of Leprous, but yeah, this one's probably the best track. I do like this one quite a bit. Limbo goes into some of the weakest writing I've seen from the band. Yeah, you start off with fireball, flying above all, undeniably viable, always in full control, which isn't the worst part, but it's just the repetitiveness and the way the lyrics kind of have some interesting parts to then just kind of go into letting go, it's moving slow, pulsating afterglow, fireball, fireball. And then they do that with being seen as a rebel, the work of the devil, renegade, 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 renegade. And then being seen as a rebel, a whole nother level. Alien, alien, alien. I just find this just to be completely wacky and just out of, I don't know. I feel like there's definitely a lot more meaning and depth to it, but it just felt like a weird choice and feels kind of weird. Limbo does have some of the better instrumentation and vocal performance, but the lyrics is like the thing that I instantly noticed and thought, what am I listening to? This is even stranger than the eeriness the record's trying to give off. But yeah, I'm not that big on Limbo, unfortunately. Faceless, yeah, I honestly found this one to be kind of bland. I felt the refrain was one of the weakest. When they built up to the melodic part of it, it just kind of sucked, in my opinion. It does the same thing again, which I'm going to say this a bit. It starts off slow and it kind of builds up more and more, and it's just, this is the formula that's rinse and repeat throughout this record. And I'm not going to say much about Starlight because it does a similar thing. I will say the refrain's better, but I don't think it really hooked me in. I'm finding the second half to this record be a lot weaker than the first, because the first was singles that we were used to, and I think the eeriness of the non-singles made it cool, but literally we crossed for Like a Sunken Ship, the best track, to Limbo, arguably one of the worst, and kind of full face down from there. Is a shame. With Starlight, I wasn't really big on this one either. I felt this one kind of suffered from the same thing as Faceless. Self-Satisfied Lullaby, this one is unique because instead of it just building up to slightly heavier, it's mainly just electronic, and I like the electronic influence for what Leprous want to bring onto this record. And Self-Satisfied Lullaby, I think it could have been done better. I found this one to be kind of tiresome of a track. I think if it was positioned high on the record, I might have liked it more, but I think where it is kind of just having this slow to build up each time with the last three tracks, and then you're going into, I wouldn't say last three tracks, almost all of them, then you're going into something that doesn't really build up because it's just this soft, more electronic driven track. It just loses its uniqueness, and it doesn't really have any payoff or any interest to me. I think it's unique, but the position of where it was, I just felt really kind of tired of the record as I got to this, and it's a shame. But Unfree My Soul, surprisingly, actually was a nice song, and I think this one's got some great moments. Literally, the chorus is beautiful, the track is just great, and that's all I really have to say with that one. But yeah, I love the instrumentals on this one, and I think vocally, Solberg just gives the best kind of finale to this track, to the album rather, and I think it's a nice little send-off for the record. But yeah, that's all the tracks, and I will say it is without a doubt one of the most disappointing releases of Leprous. I've been looking forward to this record for a while, but it really doesn't have much payoff. I think tracks like Sunken Ship, Like a Sunken Ship, was one that really got me more reeled in. Atonement was a great lead single, but I just felt doing the same formula they did on this record, it kind of just blows a bit. The last record, Aphelion, kind of is one of the weakest albums the band's put out. It plays too much into that soft territory, and they've been doing that for a while. Pitfalls, Melina, but I feel like even these last three records just have a stronger identity. At least there's some tracks I more resonate with, and I guess this one's trying to be more like The Congregation, but modern and a bit softer, but I'm not really getting that vibe. I also think The Congregation just pushes for more highly anticipated ideas, and it makes for a pretty good release, but I can't say much the same about this. It's an album I want to like more, but I just can't, and I think where it stands, it's not bad. It's not a bad record, there's a lot of effort. Vocals again are great. I've never had a problem with the vocals. I think the falsettos are a nice addition as always. Hearing Uncleans was a nice surprise, especially if it was even just one little bit on one track. But where I stand with Leprous, probably the weakest record. I'm going to say it's a 2.5 out of 5 for me. It's the most, probably the most average thing I've listened to today. Well, not today, rather this year. I literally just feel this is the most most basic average score I can give it. Literally the middle of 2.5 out of 5. But I like this I like the tracks, they're pretty good. And that's my review. Hope you all enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next video.